If this works, it will be a miracle. I'm checking the audio coming through. I have got so much connected up here that I'm going to screw it up. But hello, I'll show you what I've got in a sec. So you will hear a lot of white noise. Why is there a lot of white noise? Can anybody guess why there's a lot of white noise? Anybody? Anybody guess? The problem is it takes so long for the lag, etc. Well, there's a reason why. I have plugged in 2 drones right now. So you're hearing the noise from the smart controller, which is here. Quite noisy. You're hearing the noise from the Mavic Air 2 controller, and you're hearing the noise from the Mavic Air 2 itself. So I probably should have used that Sony microphone with the noise cancelling, but silly me, I'm not. But don't worry, this won't last that long because the batteries will die. So the setup that I am using today, I have got, as I said, gone very complicated. So this main camera is the Sony A7 III with the Sigma 35mm art lens at 1.2, as you would, because in theory the autofocus should work. It's relatively slow-ish deliberately. On camera 4 I have my GoPro Hero 5. It has to be the 5 because it is a, oh, I wonder why it's got all that stuff on the screen. It's not supposed to. And I wonder why it's gone 4:3. Oh well, it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you. The settings seem to have got reset, but it doesn't matter. So it just shows you the wide shot. You can just about see a KMTV RGB light up there, set to daylight and softened down. And I have one, a backlight as well. On top of that, I have a live feed from outside, which I think is on number 2. Yes, so this is the smart controller coming out the HDMI. So this is my infrared drone in the Catio. I have an infrared, all about infrared video coming out next week, so it's good to have this in there. We saw a bit of Catio in the review that went out yesterday, and unfortunately my cats have all buggered off. Hopefully they'll come back. And then one last camera. This is the most complicated bit I had to do. So the smart controller will work with the Mavic Air 2, just not yet. So I am just normally plugging it in to the normal controller. I am then mirroring this using a piece of software called Reflector 3 onto my Mac, then extending the desktop out. I've already got 3 screens. I've got 3 screens already. So there's the 4K one up there, the ultra wide here, the iMac Pro, which you can't see in this frame, but you'll see it in the other one. And just out of frame here is my, hang on, let me bring it in slightly. Ooh, just to show you that that's my iPad Pro. I don't know why it's gone 4:3 on the old GoPro. It's a shame. Doesn't matter. And that is where you can see the phone feed. How ridiculous is that? Right, I'm not going to do anything until I get some cats in here. So hopefully you've seen my review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you've also taken part in the shooting challenge, which is from my last video from about a week and a bit ago, maybe longer, I can't remember. And I've asked you to shoot a sequence, editing it in camera, so each thing. So if you haven't seen the video, watch it. My favorite 3 will be each winning a copy of my filmmaking for photographers course, and I will be doing a live on Sunday where I'll be showing my favorites that you've done. So once you've done the sequence, don't cheat, put the link in the comments of that video. I will then rip it, nick it from YouTube, download it, and so you won't know if you're one of my. I did say in the video that I might contact you, but I'm not. I just thought it'd be better if I just nick them all, download them, and then you won't know if you've won or not. So isn't that a nice way of doing things? Today's bitrate seems a bit low. I don't know. I can't really increase at this point. It's going at 9 megabits a second, so that's double the bitrate from the last one, which was 4.5. So it's 9.3 megabits a second. Yeah, I'm using the Video Go as my live encoder. I have the A10 Mini switcher from Blackmagic, and I'm viewing my output on the Shogun 7. And I did live streaming so complicated. So what I wanted to try and figure out was how to play a video through this setup. Oh, I'm still getting text coming through on my phone, which is no good. I must stop that. What was I saying? So I tried to figure out, you cannot play a video clip through the A10 Mini without buying another device like their HyperDeck to plug in. You have the A10 control panel, so you can put in a still, one still or whatever, and that's about it. But you can't put in a video, which is rubbish. So I looked at Ecamm Live, and that's great, but then I can't use my hardware encoder. I have to use the computer. So I'll probably do my next live using Ecamm Live because it gives me a lot of flexibility. But oh, anyway, I went down a rabbit warren with all these live things. So anyway, stop complaining about the quality and just enjoy the content. I don't know why it's like that. It's at 9 megabits a second. It should be absolutely fine. There we go. Okay, I'm not going to just use OBS Filmmakers Workshop because I have a hardware encoder. A hardware encoder, which is fantastic. OBS quit on me during the Atomos lives about 8 times, or just before I started the Atomos live. Ain't happening. Ecamm Live works great. I just went with the Video Go on this anyway. Let's move on. Let's just move on, okay? And anyway, so I'm not going to start filling with lots of advice, which is great, but I'm not going to listen to it right now because if I try and read and talk to you at the same time, it's not going to work. So if there's any questions about the shooting challenge, any questions about the Mavic Air 2, let me know, please. So I'm just going to do something with the infrared one now, just so I can turn it off, so we get a little bit less white noise. So that is number 2. So yeah, I love the smart controller. It's cool. I mean, it's going through quite a few walls and stuff to work. And this has got the IR chrome filter from Kalari Vision. They did the modification, so it's an all spectrum drone, and it looks great with all that extra green. Because I've been in gardening today and I have cut back so much, but it's got to be picked up. So there's a lot of green, and green foliage looks fantastic. Oh, there's Jimmy. Hi, Jimmy. Well, there's a cat for you. Finally, let's see if there's any others over there. It's nice to see Jimmy. And there's that's Harriet's over there. So the cats are in the catio. There we go. All right, so that's that for now. Shooting challenge, my video, watch it. So, all right, I'm going to turn off the this one for now, but I think most of the noise is coming from the Mavic Air 2, and I've got 2 bars of battery left on it. It does tell me that I can take off. I don't think I can take off right now for a very simple reason. Well, 3 reasons. 1, can you guess? It's the arms aren't open. 2, there's no props on it. 3, I'm inside my office. All of these are a terrible, terrible idea. And I don't know why the app thinks that I should possibly do a takeoff. I don't know. So let me just try and go into airplane mode, just because I don't want any personal messages coming up. I'm worried that it's going to disconnect the thingy, but I don't think it has, no. So there we go. So we have the app. So there's a few things I want to talk about. First off, look, we do have a tripod mode switch on the actual controller, but unlike the Mavic Pro 2, there is no ability to tweak it at all. There's nothing in the settings I can see. I've looked through them all. I can find nothing at all. One good thing is you can charge your phone through this because it does have a big battery inside the bigger controller, so your battery doesn't get flat. But there's no, I do find the tripod mode feels a bit fast for me compared to what I've been used to with the Mavic 2 Pro, because the ability to really fine tune it. So I kind of miss that. And you can also do the dragging with the finger on the app as well, which is useful when you're not actually flying in the air. Come up here, Percy. Come on. So you can look at so I'm currently in manual and there's auto. So the settings that you've got are under camera. And so I'm set to MP4. It doesn't really matter what you go for. It's just a container. And I set it to decent alike and normal color. H.265 because it is much less compressed. Because it's the same bitrate as H.264, but with the modern thingy. Histogram is on. Anything else? Manual white balance. This is worth doing. Auto sync your HD photos. So you take a photograph and it sends it straight, the JPEG straight, or an HD version to your phone, which is not even when it's in the air, which is really nice. Transmission is just set to auto, and so that's where your first camera settings are, and then your other camera settings are under here. So in 4K normal, you can go up to 60 frames per second. In HDR, you can go up to 30 frames per second. In slow motion is 1080p up to 240. Both of these are very soft, I think. But then again, you know, slow motion drone shots are already so slow anyway. 60p is more than enough for me, I think, anyway. And then we have hyperlapse, which is cool. So then you have to go into the other settings for hyperlapse. And I think, hang on, I think I've taken a step early. So, hang on. So I want to go into hyperlapse. Yeah, that's right. And then I think I need to go into here. Oh, so it needs to go into, where is it? There's a setting in here somewhere. I did do it. Oh yeah, resolution, 1080p or 8K. So this builds an 8K video once you've done it. And then you go off that and you set the duration of how long you want the shot to be. Shows you that a 10-second shot will take 20 minutes to do. That's quite a long time, isn't it? So yeah, there you go, hyperlapse mode. Any questions about the Mavic Air 2? Let me know. Let me have a look, see if I can see anything coming up here. Oh, so many questions, so many questions. No, I didn't get 2 other batteries because DJI sent me the drone about 2 weeks ago, and I only had the 1 battery, and then as I showed you on the video, and then I did get a second one sent to me, but I don't have the third one. So I've actually bought 2 on the DJI store yesterday, £100 each. Bloody hell. But one thing is, I did notice that I actually had, through the affiliate thingy, some money in there, so I used that. I hadn't even checked ever since I got it. And what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so this batteries, I got them. Why does the image look so sharp? I talk about it in the video, in detail in my review, in detail. Hello. Yeah, as a cam will let you do streaming, but that's I'm not getting into. Is the Mavic Air 2 controller heavy? It depends. If you're Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, then yes. If you're anybody else, then no. It weighs very, very little. The smart controller weighs way more, because it's got a big battery in it than this little thing. This doesn't weigh much at all. So I'm just going to turn off this for a bit of quiet for now. And we are now down to 2 cameras and silence. I'm sorry, but that's the fancy stuff out the way. I mean, I might pop up and just check on the cats again in a bit, but that's I think fine for all of those. Okay, let me try and read these comments and see what we're going on there. So any questions about stuff I didn't cover in the Mavic Air 2 review? It gets so complicated. The Mavic Air 2, Mavic Pro 2. I mean, I called it the Mavic 2 Pro in the video once, and then I corrected myself. I didn't realise. It's just so confusing. It's not as confusing as the A7S III, which I've said accidentally a few times, which I do not have yet. So the one thing about so I tested the ND filters and they are color accurate, and I have the ND 16, 64 and 256. There's two different types. One that comes in the Fly More pack, I think, is just those ones, which is great if you live in a really sunny country. But I only use them for a couple of shots when I was doing some filming, because they're too strong for the weather that I had when I was filming. So they do much lower ones, and I can't remember what they are, but they're much lower, because I think the max is 32 on the lower set. So it's worth, you know, they're out of stock, but yeah, they're definitely worth getting. As I said, I did a test which I didn't include in the review because I just thought it was going to get too long, of the NDs, and I saw no color shift in them, which is good. Oh, I just need a bit of a slurp while you look at the wide shot. Don't know why it's 4:3. I did set it to 16:9, but then it just disappeared. So, okay, where do we get to? Do I think that the design of the controller makes sense? I think the design is way better. If you think that the other one is better, then no. Here's the reasons why. Two of them. It feels good in your hands, like real good, nice, firm grip. You know, very nice. The other one was a bit, not so good. Second thing is the location of the phone is up high. So you're flying, you're supposed to be looking at the drone, not looking at the screen. Now, if the screen is just here, you know, I can quickly check that everything's looking good. The screen is below, and I'm like looking down. Makes so much sense. And the antenna is here, so you're not going to have any issues where you've not got it pointing in the right way. So it's a fantastic controller, way better. Yes, it will take a little bit more space in your bag, and also because it's got a big battery, it will charge your phone. It's amazing. There we go. Oh, okay. What have we got here? Are there any questions at all? Can't see many. And I don't know, I think the super chat is not showing up on there, is it? I think it's not showing at all, and I think the reason why is because, I don't know, maybe it is showing. Tell me if it's showing or not, the super chat at the bottom, because I did get a warning, because originally I titled this the shooting challenge, and I think because I had the word shooting in there, it disabled things, but hopefully it is back there. The super chat down the bottom is the little $sign. Yeah, making a plug for some, you know, but yeah, I'm just hoping it works, because it's a shame otherwise. Okay, so what we got? I'm not fully shaved, no, just trimmed. So what we got here? But I did actually cut my own hair, which I think is I did a pretty good job, because it's just me. So yeah, so I live alone. I have to say, I was supposed to do more lives, to be honest with you. I did say on my last regular live, which was a couple of weeks ago or so, that I was going to be doing much more. I've done some for other people, but I haven't done any just on my own, because honestly, it's when you're doing a live, it does take quite a lot out of you, and you need to be in a certain frame of mind, in a pretty good mood. And it's hard living on your own in this sort of situation right now, because you know, you get lonely and you get miserable and you get depressed, and not in a frame of mind to do any lives. So that's kind of why I haven't really done any. So wanted to, but by pushing myself to do them now, it is a good thing. It's a healthy thing. So yeah, I haven't seen my friends or family for over 2 months, and it sucks. So okay, what have we got here? Does it use oh blimey, power life of the controller is very good. Is the Mavic Pro a good starter drone? A good starter drone is one that you can afford to lose or crash and get a replacement. So it's up to you how rich you are. I think a good starter drone could well be the Mavic Mini if you've never flown one before, but just beware with the Mavic Mini. The motors are very weak, so you've got to make sure that there's not a lot of wind around, otherwise you're going to have issues with it. So, thank you very much, Trail Features, for the $5. Appreciate it. I cut my hair. And I did a damn good job. The back isn't good, but this bit that you can see is okay. Try cutting the back of your hair. It's really, really hard. I think I can probably do it. The issue is the whole mirror thing, because it's, you know, what I'm going to do is probably do it in front of a camera, do it in front of a screen with a camera pointing at my back, and then it will be the right way around. That's what I'm going to do to just fix the back of it, but it's okay. It's not too bad at all. Is RAW only 12 megapixels? No. So 48 megapixels is RAW as well, because of the way that the quad Bayer sensor works. It just uses, it's a different way of sampling color than before. So what we normally have is 4 pixels for the colors and the luminance. So we actually have the same amount of pixels on the quad Bayer sensor, but they're using each of those pixels in a different way, and then they combine them when they need to. It's all very, very clever stuff. It's worth reading up on, and it's in a lot of the smartphones. But yes, it's RAW, absolutely. Thank you very much for Terje? I don't know how to pronounce your name, but thank you very much. And Marlon has got a question here. Okay, since this drone will be able to be controlled with the DJI Smart Controller, we'll be able to control sharpness since it uses DJI Go. So this is a very good question. So I did test out to see whether the Smart Controller would work with the drone and the Mavic Air 2, and it doesn't still. Reason being, it needs firmware, new firmware. I have been told that it will. So will it then include any sharpness things? I don't know. I don't really know, because look, if you look at the DJI Fly app works with the Mini and the Air 2, and there's different parameters and different things that opened up when you connect each drone. So maybe I think they just get disabled, but I'm hopeful, and I've clearly complained about the sharpening and the lack of contrast and stuff in the video quite strongly, and I have told them in emails as well. Fingers crossed. They didn't reply, puppos. They get these emails from me every time I review a DJI product. The last one was for the action camera. I went, I really love it, but my God, it's overly sharpened. Can you please reduce it? Please give us an option. Anyway. One thing that did arrive today, but I can't tell you in detail, is I've got a new computer, and it's a PC, it's a laptop, and it's really powerful, and I'll talk about it when the NDA, or when it's announced. But it's really nice, and it looks, I wanted a laptop that looks as sleek as a Mac, and I needed it for editing on the go. I still hate Windows though, I hate Windows. Okay, so I've got some other questions here from Meditation Vacation. Cool, good name. What helps? Okay, what helps in no light or no light for the GH5? The Voigtlander lenses, really. I mean, it's the low light sensitivity of the GH5 is very similar to the GH4 and the GH3. When I did the launch video for the GH3, which I filmed in LA, that's Harriet is running around inside here. That was the one with the guy in the police being chased by the police and stuff. And I used the Voigtlanders a lot, the 25mm and the 17.5mm, I think, yeah, 0.95 essential lenses, and they help a lot. But you know, it's keeping focus, because you know, it's 0.95 for micro four thirds, so it's not as bad as 0.95 in full frame, so it is controllable. It just becomes a bit hard because it's got quite close focus. When it's quite close focus, then it becomes very challenging, but that's what you need. Thank you. I'm gonna have a gin and tonic when I finish this. There you go. Okay, what are these questions here? What do I think that DJI forgot in the Mavic Air 2? Control over your image. Tweakability, which I talk about in the video. Otherwise, it's a great upgrade. Great battery life. OcuSync 2, that's the biggest thing for me because the Wi-Fi signal was atrocious. I haven't tried the autonomous modes, but they look good from what I've seen in other people's videos. The 4K 60p is great, so it's just too sharp. But other than that, it's a really good upgrade. So Kevin bought the Mavic 2 Pro as first drone. Good. Good. I do know somebody who bought an Inspire 2 as their first drone with the X7 camera. Crazy. There you go. More money than sense. Hopefully that person's not watching. Talking about the Inspire 2, do I think it has a future? I don't really know. Look, I had it for a while, for about 8 months or so. I barely flew it because it's so big and expensive, and I was terrified of using it in case anything happened. And I like to fly through things, and you can't do that with it. It's too big. So for professional use, it's great. It's great, but I don't personally. It's not for me. No. So I don't know if they're going to update it. It's not a Razor. There you go. So Trail Features went into the DJI community to talk about over sharpening. Yeah, don't go into any communities whatsoever. So with the shooting challenge, what I need you to do is, if you've not entered, so going off on the two main topics of this, I would like you to get it uploaded, or you upload it onto YouTube as unlisted. You can make it public if you really want to, and put the link in the description, or the comments of my video. But you need to get it done by 8 PM on Friday, because I need to go through them all in time for the live on Sunday night. Okay, all the rules are in there. Watch the video, see how I do one. Don't copy me, and don't just make coffee, please. So many people are just making coffee. Anything else, please, will be great. Use your imagination. Okay, I'm going to take another slurp, go back to the wide. Slurp. I'm just going to check on the cat outside, so I'm just going to go to the other camera, see if it's what we're getting out there. If I can turn it on, maybe it's too flat. There we go. So I'm just turned on the smart controller connected to the infrared drone, which is outside. It's not got a signal yet, but we're getting there. So just gonna turn it all on. Question here: would I still choose the Phantom above one of the Mavics? Well, I think the answer to that is no, because I don't fly the Phantoms anymore. I've got 2 Phantom 4s Pros, and I don't use them. New firmware, that's cool. So there's the infrared drone. Is there anybody outside? Harriet, there she is. Harriet in infrared. I can talk to her via. Let me talk to her via the security camera. So I'm going to go on to here. See if she gets scared by. Well, she won't get scared. I just want to see her maybe move, because there's no speaker on the thingy. Where is it? Here it is. Just going to try the right camera. There's this one here, and here we go. Ready? Oh, before I did it, she moved. Oh well, typical. Typical. I do love infrared though. And in my video on infrared, which will be next week, you will learn a lot about infrared, as to why. You'll see how you can use all sorts of cameras with it and the effects that you can get. Anyway, back onto questions. I'm disappointed. She just moved. And there's nobody else outside, so I'll turn that back off again. And the other thing that I'm doing a lot of is I have so many videos to make right now, and I also have my new cat channel, which is reviews, One Man 5 Cats. So if you go oneman5cats.com or just search for it on YouTube, I've got my first review up. It's my new project. So I have, my next videos to come out are going to be the infrared one about live streaming, one about turning your phone onto silent during live streaming. I know lots of people have done live streaming videos, but I just want to talk about my own setup because I want to show everything from this complicated setup to something as simple as just using the Camlink 4K, which is, there it goes into 4K. There we go. I've tried all sorts of cameras. I've even toyed with setting up. So I currently have a semi-permanent setup. So this is a semi-permanent setup, and this is a new pole which I've put in here, not for pole dancing, because it's not tall enough. My pole dancing one is upstairs. But I do have, so it is all attached on here. So the light is mounted up semi-permanently, so's the backlight. So I can turn everything off with a command using the Amazon Alexa as well. And it's fantastic. And yeah, I've got the video there. So it's all a very nice, tidy setup. But I want to go through these sort of options and my learning from it, because I've gone from a very simple experience of doing lives to something more complicated. So those are the next two videos, plus another cat review video. There we go. Canon C300 Mark III. No, I'm not planning to do a review of it. I'm more interested in the 500. Look, it's 2020 and I don't want to use a Super 35mm camera. I'm happy to use a full frame camera that can go into Super 35 mode. But no, the Canon C300 Mark III looks great image-wise and stuff, but it's like, I wish that it had the slow motion. I wish the C500 had some of the features from that, and it's just like, wouldn't combine them together. You know, the C500 doesn't do the 4K 120, yet the C300 Mark II was. So why doesn't the C500 Mark II do a Super 35 crop to give us that ability? I just find it frustrating, but no, the new Infinity camera looks incredible, so do check that out on their website. It's months away from coming out, but next camera review, who knows? The problem is they take so long, camera reviews, to do them properly. We shall see. Can you fit a tablet in the Mavic Air 2 controller? Yes, you can, as long as your tablet is the same size as a mobile phone. Otherwise, no, it won't fit. Okay, any other questions? Would I recommend the Mavic Pro Platinum or Mavic Air 2 for photography? I think the Mavic Air 2, it's got a better sensor and it does 8K, or it does 30, whatever it is, 48 megapixel stills. Yeah, absolutely. The Mavic Pro Platinum, no. Mavic Pro 2, that's a different question. What other questions have we got here that's worth doing? Not, or they're all worth doing, but that I should focus on first. I don't even know if I'm going to be doing reviews of cameras that I've got. You know, I've got an S1H for a couple more weeks, and whether I'll have a chance to do a review or not, I don't know. I can't really go and film much, so I don't know. I've got a lot to do. If I had it longer, maybe. I think it's a nice camera, but the lack of autofocus kills me. I have lots of cameras which don't have autofocus, and that's fine for certain things, but for this, as a stills camera as well, it's a big missing. So 48 megapixels aren't RAW, are you sure? I need to check my Lightroom, because I was pretty sure they were RAW. I could be wrong. Doesn't really matter if I'm wrong. Shall I check? Let me check. Let me turn on the drone. There's no reason for them not to be able to be RAW. They should be able to be RAW because the sensor is capable of producing RAW at that. So, yeah. Okay. What did I use for those thin depth of field opening shots? The same lens and the same camera that I am using right now. 35mm 1.2 Sigma. Okay, is this turned on? Okay, so let me just get this going. And we've got the controller going. And let me just mirror this to my computer. And I'll get this on. 5048. Okay. That work? I think so. Yeah, okay. So on the drone here, so let's just check. I thought it could do RAW. I'm sure it could have done RAW. So in photo mode, 48 megapixels. Let's check JPEG and RAW. Let's go back. See, it says you can do it. It says you can do JPEG and RAW in this mode. Otherwise, it would turn it off in 48 megapixels. So there you go. You're saying no. A controller says yes. I'll have to check. I'm pretty certain that I have RAW, but if I don't, then it should be in there. There's no reason why not. Whew, where are we? RAW is 28. Where's 28 come from? It's either 12 megapixels or 48. It's the way that the quad Bayer sensor works. Okay, what do we got here? How's the image compared to the Phantom 4 Pro? I make it very clear in my review. If you've not seen my review, please watch it. The image is overly sharpened because it doesn't have any ability to bring it down, which it needs to. Phantom 4 Pro has that, the Mavic 2 Pro has that, and the Mavic Air original has that. Let me turn the controller off and the drone off as well. So, but the Phantom 4 Pro to me is too big now. I still think the best one is the Mavic Pro 2. The Mavic 2 Pro is still my favorite by far. Do I want to borrow Michael's asking if I want to borrow the 50mm anamorphic lens. Michael 4/3. If it was E-mount, I would say yes, because that's what I needed. Because my one got... Watch my first live. You want to know the story of what happened to my Suri? I don't know. Whatever it's called. Whew. You seem very strong that it's not 48 EK photography. Come here. Wait. The thing is, the app says yes. And Lollipop says it's 48 megapixels. And if it's not doing it RAW, it should be doing it RAW. Right? I'm going to check in my... I'll have to check in my Lightroom and stuff to have a look. But anyway, there's no point arguing about this because it's totally capable of doing it. And if it doesn't do it right now, then I'm certain they will fix that because there is no technical reason. There you go. Interesting questions. So EK photography, you've seen 10 reviews, but have you actually used one yourself? That's the question. Have you used one yourself? Because once you've used one yourself, then you can talk to me about this. I just wanted to get my finger in focus there. But I'm going to ask DJI about it because I thought it did, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't right now. But as I said, there's technically no reason why it shouldn't. There you go. What other questions have we got? What's the time? How long have we gone? This one's, yeah. I'm only going to be doing this live for an hour rather than that and a half of the previous ones because it's exhausting. And I've spent like 3 hours getting all this set up, which I think was a little bit over the top for when I've got a permanent setup here. So everything was turned on very quickly, but it's going for all these complications of trying to figure out how to get the image from the controller on the app to the live stream when I can't do an HDMI out of the phone, which I would normally do because it is taken up by... There were so many things to think about. It was ridiculous. So, yeah. Okay. Oh, that's a really good point. The moment anamorphic lens for the Mavic 2 Pro. That's a plane. I haven't had planes for a while. So I have it and I haven't used it. I need to use it. I'd love to use it. So there we go. Mavic Zoom or Air 2? Yes. There you go. The shirt says, if cats could text you back, they wouldn't. They wouldn't. They've got their own phones. I mean, only the new iPhone SE but I don't know. They haven't texted me once on it, or WhatsApps or anything. Bit rude, really. Okay. Any distortion with the new lens sensor? The new lens of the drone? No, not really. I mean, see, I would love so much for them to bring out a drone with that on it. Is it going to get in focus? Hide my face, it will. There. With switchable lenses. Because one of my biggest issues with their cameras, with the non-interchangeable lenses, is you can't go wide enough. Now, sure, you can fly back, but the key part for me is the top down as well. So, you know, if you're only be able to go 120 meters, you're often not high up enough to get it. So I end up doing, for stills, I do fly around and get panoramics. So I would love them to have a switchable lens system on there like that. Why not? Especially as the sensor, you know, we actually have the same sensor on the Mavic Air 2 is in a lot of phones with multiple lenses. They're different, there's multiple sensors as well, but it's watching what Ollie pops up to. That would be really cool. I'd love them to do that. What do I use for switch cameras? So I have the A10 Mini here. I could use the Shogun. So what I like about the A10 Mini is I can just put in any feed that I want into it. Right? You know, it doesn't have to be the same frame rate or resolution, which you need to do with the Shogun. And also the Shogun is SDI. But the Shogun is really nice because it has the screen and you can press the one you want. I'm a little bit disappointed about the A10 Mini. There's a few things I thought would have been really cool. And you really do need to use their app to get some of the things to work, which is kind of, you know, seems a bit strange. You know, just if I wanted to change so if I go on to the main thing and then go on to picture in picture, so to select the source of the second image, I need to use the software. I can't do it via the physical controller. And I can change the size of the window and move it around, right? Which is cool. But then if I come off of picture in picture or move it around, it defaults back to the small size. So that sort of thing is a bit of a pain, to be honest with you. And, you know, I'm not going to use things like dissolves. I don't use them in edits, so there's no reason for me to use that. Or things like that, I ain't going to use them. So that, at the end of the live, I might do this, but other than that, no. It's nice and easy for switching. And my biggest concern, if the cats were here, would be walking around and switching the cameras for me, because that's not their job. They aren't vision mixers or directors, so they shouldn't be changing things. So the Mavic 2 Pro has some distortion in 10-bit log mode because it's less processed. If you go into the non 10-bit mode, it doesn't have any of that issue. So it's a simple fix, as you say, in post, just to change the distortion of it. I like the fact that so little processing is done on that image. Much better. Do all the Shoguns do the switching? No, only the Shogun 7, but also the Sumo does it as well. So it's not part of the Inferno. And it's definitely not part of the Ninjas because it only has one input. But it's really nice to have that. If you go to the Atomus Academy website, you can see my live all about the Shogun 7. If you go with 256 megabyte card instead of a 64 megabyte 128 gigabyte, you can take longer hyperlapses. Well, to be honest with you, it's not an issue. The size of the card, it doesn't take up that much space, your 8K hyperlapse. So it's not the issue of the space of the card. You can easily get one on a 16 gigabyte card. It's the issue is how long it takes to do one. On the, you know, got to make sure you've got a full battery. I've only got the 2. And of course you can't change batteries during hyperlapses because it won't work for very obvious reasons. So don't worry about it. One thing I do recommend every time you change batteries, and I talked about this loads of times in different situations in my tutorials and stuff, is switch your SD cards every time you bring it down and change batteries, just in case. Just in case. Because the only thing that's irreplaceable is what you've shot. Everything else is replaceable, as long as you can pay for it. There. I don't understand the question 101 blog about Tom selecting both from the ATEM. Selected both of what? Sorry. It's in the comments. It's worth mentioning what I'm talking about, what your question is referring to, because otherwise I get a bit confused, because I've talked about a lot and the delay that comes up here. I've forgotten about what I've already talked about. So hi Ryan, I haven't done any of the tracking. So it looks good. So I looked at iPhone Do's video, and it really follows you so well. But it's following you, so you got your back to the drone, so you're always supposed to be looking at the drone. But it looks really cool if you're following a subject. And another plane. What's going on with all the planes? I haven't had any for weeks. There we go. What other questions? So yeah, if you watch Martin, if you watch my DJI Mavic Pro 2 review from September 2018, I talk about the Anafi and I show footage. I think the image from the Anafi is probably my favorite of my drones. It's just the drone itself is a bit it's not rock solid and stuff, but the image is really nice. It's just a shame, really. Ooh, knock over things. So do I record to an SD card in a smart remote? So you can, for sure, but it's a backup, of course. You're also going to get better quality if you're recording internally as well on the actual drone. But I only just got the smart controller, so I've not flown with it yet. All I've done is do stuff outside. It makes me want to turn it on again. I have just tested it. Kobe's asking, what's the exact flight time? 34 minutes is excuse me, is optimum. It's basically flying without any acceleration or any wind. That's as much as you get, 34 minutes. Real world, so I got about 25 minutes and I had comfortably enough power to bring it back in my own time. As long as you're not 5 miles away with anything stupid like that. So these are all optimum numbers. So but compared to the Mavic Air, which is 21 minutes with nothing happening, it's so much better. So much better. Okay. No, I haven't used the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. Yeah, talking about names, crazy. But I do like the 4K version, and I prefer. For me, I think the 4K makes more sense because of the switchable lens mounts and speed booster and stuff like that. But anyway, that's just me. So can you use an SSD with it? Yeah, there's no reason why not. CFast cards are expensive, so it's up to you really. But as long as you've got a really good solid SSD, USB 3 cable, USB-C cable that is clamped in, you should be fine. And there's some good holders. I've got my SSDs for cameras in here. So as long as you've got good holders with, the small rig one is all right. But I've got a couple of others which really hold things in and then have a lock like this one here. I don't know if you'll see that. Probably not going to get it. This has got a lock in there it holds the HDMI cable in, and if your cage has got a cable, a lock for the not HDMI, for the USB-C cable, then you should be okay, because obviously you don't want your cable being pulled out, then it being yanked out before you finished. Oh, knocked over my drink. Nobody wants that. Whew. Are the Air 2 props same as the Mavic 2? Nothing is the same. DJI make new everything for everything. New batteries, new props, new filters, new controllers. The only thing that is you can bring from a previous drone, the bag. You could use the bag. Everything else needs replacing, I'm afraid. It's a pain, but it's how it is. Did you any ND filters to work with an IR modified drone? No, simply no, because of the weight issue and what fixes on. In theory, you could. So you could get some ND gel, which doesn't weigh much, and you could do that yourself. So that's probably the best solution. So Clari Vision don't make any NDs that go on that. I mean, in theory, one could be made, and you just need to counterbalance it on the back. But the best solution is just put a little bit of gel over it yourself. Just cut it out and just fix it onto, probably just cut it out so it's perfect. Fix it on the inside of the filter. So there you go. Keep knocking. Yeah, right back my drink. So I've got this lightweight plastic one, because the other one was my big glass, and it's really, really heavy, and my arm is really aching because I've been alone for the past 2 months. It's not that reason, honestly. A lot of it's been because I've been sat down on the sofa lying, and Bert, like, you know, he's 4.5 kilos who spends his life lying on my arm. And the other thing is I've been doing a lot of DIY and a lot of gardening, and I'm achy all over. So it's not the dirty things that you were thinking about. Questions like, Arri, Alexa or Red? Give me some context about something and then I can possibly answer. But to be honest with you, neither. For me, the better camera is, who knows? Now it's ruining my shot. Both of them are very good cameras. I want to see if I can still see something outside on the infrared drone. It's still going, so I'm so impressed of the signal, because this house is like 130 years old, so it's an old Victorian house, and it's got really thick walls, so it's going through 3 really thick walls, and then 3 really thick walls to get to the outside there. I did have to open the double doors here because I was getting issues. Thanks, Camille. I promise you I will be doing something soon. I promise you. It's just I've actually been very, very busy. And I guess part of the issue is because I've not been going outside much at all, and I'm certainly not doing any handheld filming. The Cayman is, it doesn't feel like an urgent thing. But, if I was out shooting normally, I'd have definitely got onto it quicker. But thank you. I really do need to get onto it. So thank you very much for the money, and I hope things are going well in Switzerland. Hot tip, change hands. Yeah, no, I'm not ambidextrous. I don't think I can make it work with my left hand. I can show you that I'm not using the S1H for streaming, because a very simple demonstration to prove that this is not the S1H. It is this. Is that in focus? I should use my A7R4 because it has better autofocus, as the I autofocus, but this is the A7 III. The minimum focus, I think, is there. About there. Super shallow. I mean, that is ridiculous. I should do a live just like this. It look like that. Not very. I don't like to talk bad about anybody, but a well-known photographer with the first name of Tony did a video using a 50mm 1.2 Canon full frame EOS R, talking about why he doesn't shoot 4K anymore, and he showed it all at 1.2, and it didn't work very well. There you go. Yes, I did cut it myself. Not bad, eh? Okay, so what other questions have we got? Hello, Eastbourne. Do I think the Mavic 2 Pro will get updated optical avoidance, same as Air 2? I don't know. I'm guessing a lot of it is down to software and potentially hardware. I mean, it's got more sensors on the Air, so the Pro 2. So in theory, maybe. I don't know, to be honest with you. It is very impressive from what I've seen. I've just not really used myself, so my cats are starting to go through boxes and things. But yeah, Kevin is saying, yeah, the Kinefinity Marvo Edge 8K looks amazing, amazing. If I move forward that slowly, the S1 would keep up fine. No, it wouldn't, because what it would do, it would then suddenly go onto the background, and then it would be like, I've tried. It's a bit frustrating. Okay, what else have we got? There's sadly none of my cats. Come here, Lollipop. Come here, Lollipop. Come here. Come here. Come here, Lollipop. Come here. Come here. Hopefully she'll come over. Lollipop, come here. Come on. Good girl. Finally. Good girl. Honestly, without my cats, I don't know how I would cope with this, to be honest with you, because it's very lonely. I talk to them most of the time. Good girl. EOS R5 looks cool. It's all specs. Until you get hands on the camera, it's all specs. So let me change the shot because it's so ridiculous. There you go. I can read and colour Lollipop at the same time. Not being able to change the aperture on the Mavic Air 2 is, yeah, I mean, it's, to be honest with you, it's kind of expected because it's only the Phantom 4 Pro and the Mavic Pro 2 that has a changeable aperture. Otherwise, we don't. So, anyway, you have 6 cats. That is impressive. I find it a struggle with 5 just to give them the attention that they all need. So, yeah, it's hard work, but I wouldn't, change it. They're brilliant. I mean, just look. This is what you need when you're feeling a bit down. This is what you need. Good girl. I should turn off the Mavic 2 Pro infrared from outside because I'm not using it. There you go. So I can change the colours on the background, which is cool. The 2 main lights here are both RGB, so I can change those, but I'm not going to right now because I don't want to mess up my phone. But the other lights in here are Philips Hue bulbs, so I can change those. I can, whatever I want them to be. I just go Echo Front Office Red. There we go. Echo Front Office White.
I don't know that one.
Ooh, it's a simple colour. Echo Front Office Off. So we just go for my actual light that I've got from the 2 KMTV lights. That shows you clearer what's going on there. But it's nice to have them back on. So Echo Front Office Purple. And you can change the percentage as well. Echo Front Office 50%. There you go. I might put it back. I like it as 100. Picture profile for the Mavic 2 Pro. Contrast is at minimum. Sharpness is at -1. Saturation is left at that, and I shoot in D-Log. There you go. Do I think... what did I say that was racist? Did I say something that was racist? I hope not. Oh, I think it's the Alexa, right. So, do I think the Air 2 will stop people buying the Mavic 2 Pro? Yeah, of course it will stop people, for sure. I still think the Mavic 2 Pro is better because the image is better and it's more stable. You could see my wind test in my review video. If you've not seen my review, please watch it. So yeah. There you go. No streaming live on Facebook. I've never done a live stream on with a drone before because I know I'm going to crash it. I'm going to crash it. So no way am I going to do a live. No way. No way. Back to Lollipop Cam. So trying to see what other questions we got. You're So Hero 6 trying to get a rescued kitten, but it's all, yeah, it's a real problem right now for getting rescued, getting rescued cats, adopting them and dogs, because everything is closed and it's really not good. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, something's beeping. Oh, it's that. Okay. Anyway, that was right. I haven't seen George. I haven't seen Tony Northrope's video. There, I don't tend to watch them, to be honest with you. Done much work with the FX9. So the no, because I've been home. I haven't been out. The FX9 was what I was using for live streaming until recently, because what I wanted to do was put up a permanent, semi-permanent setup like I have right now, which is, the camera A7 III and stuff, and I didn't want my FX9 to be, so it's away. I still be using it to film videos for YouTube, because basically all I'm doing right now is making videos for YouTube. So all my actual shoots have been postponed / cancelled, hopefully just postponed. But yeah, I mean, it's a great camera, So lots of these questions are repeating questions from earlier, so I shouldn't really, unless there's other things I should cover. No, Dr. M3, I didn't. One thing that, if you want to get a question answered and I'm missing it, use the super chats, because then I see them and it's always appreciated. So otherwise it's very difficult to follow everything. So what microphone for the Canon EOS 750D that isn't a Rode? I don't know. I've only really used Rodes for years. So I mean, the new one, the Rode, where is it? Is it down here? Here. Oh, there we go. The Rode VideoMic NTG is fantastic, and this is what I use. So I can't really tell you anything else to like, because I haven't used them. Sorry. But certainly don't get the Rode Video Micro for the 750D, because you need something which can boost the signal, because the Canon has such weak preamps. It's just very noisy. Andre, thank you. Do I find myself a bit mad being at home all the time? I find being on my own all the time very hard. I am at home a lot on my own anyway, but not for like this amount. I can't, because I can't see anybody. Excuse me. It's hard, and I do miss my family and friends. So it's important to try and get a routine going, and make sure you get up, make sure you get dressed and do things. Try not to watch too much TV. So. Have I ever tried the RX10? Yeah, the RX10s are cool. I do have I have like 2 of them. I can't remember, but I didn't really use them much. They are useful for certain things, but I don't really like it. They're big though. They're as big as, I know the lenses are smaller, but I just don't. I prefer the RX100s, to be honest with you, which has the same size sensor, and I don't want a big long lens. I love the RX105 with its 24-70 equivalent with 1.8 at the wide end. That's what I want. So, okay, what else have we got here? I'm going to end the live stream soon, because my voice is starting to go. But yeah, see if any other cool thing. So my favorite YouTube channels, obviously Gerald Undone, who makes great stuff, and lots of other random people, to be honest with you. Lots of stuff comes up on the suggestions. What's interesting, YouTube doesn't suggest my own videos, of course, unless I've done a live. Then it will suggest watching my lives. Weird. I don't recommend that at all. seeing what else have we got here. Mavic Air video bitrate compared to the Mavic 2 Pro. If you shoot in H.265, it's the same. Well, it's the same in H.265. As far as I can remember. I can check. Let me have a look. I mean, I convert everything into ProRes as soon as I brought it in, because I do not edit with H.264 or H.265. But if I look at my Mavic Air 2 folders and my offloads, I have, let's have a look at a native clip here. So the bitrate, I don't have anything in, why has that not come up? I don't have anything in H.264, it's only H.265, I didn't do it. So I have a clip here, which is, let's have a look at the inspector. And it is, hopefully this is HD, 4K. So the inspector, I've just lost it. Where'd it go? Here. It says HEVC 8-bit, 122.16 megabits a second on this 4K clip from the Mavic Air 2. So it's pretty good, actually. I think that's slightly higher than the Air, the Pro 2, I think. I'll have to double check because it is a variable bit rate, so it comes and goes. And these shots that I use of the trees and stuff, there's so much to deal with. It needs a higher bit rate. That's the thing about drones, is they need a high bit rate to deal with the fact that very rarely is the next frame going to be identical in any way to the previous frame, because you are moving pretty much the whole time. Question about the kind of Barbie cam. Look, if you look up here, don't know if you can see, but she's up there. So there you go. And there's Lollipop, much more interesting. Do I still own Pentax? Yeah, the 645Z is my favourite stills camera ever. I'm never selling it. Ever. Am I happy with switching to Resolve? I haven't fully switched. I still have projects on, one major project on Premiere still to do, but I'm also using Final Cut Pro 10. So I'm not fully switched completely yet. One day. But that video clip is, where'd it go? Where did that clip go that I just had? The bitrate, open recent, just check if it was 50p or 60p. Maybe it was 50p, that's probably why it was higher. Let's have a look. Yeah, 60p, that's right. So yeah, you're right, that's why it's 120, because normally it's lower, 100, but it needs to be there. Justin is asking, any significance between sensor quality of output from the Air 2, I'm guessing, and the Mavic Pro 2? Well, it's a massively better sensor in the Mavic Pro 2. Mavic 2 Pro. It's a 1-inch sensor. It's way better. It's a way better image. It's a more old-fashioned sensor. It doesn't have the new quad Bayer technology, but it's a better sensor. So there, that really answers it. It's a better sensor. Why do I convert everything to ProRes? For the ease of editing. When you're having multiple layers and stuff, if you're just doing basic edits of H.265, H.264, it's fine. But when you look at my timelines, they're much more complicated than that. So, especially when you're adding any effects on them and grades and stuff, H.265 is a bitch. So no. Have I ever filmed a wedding? I filmed four weddings and no funerals for friends. But no, I've done 3 for friends and 1 paid one, and I will never do them again unless I absolutely have to. Hard work, very hard work. I'm going to take the last 3 questions. And then I am going to have some dinner and watch some TV. Don't know what I'm going to watch yet. And probably have some cat cuddles with Lollipop and stuff. I am covered in scratches from my gardening, you can see. It's going to freak you out, probably not, but get the focus. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Yeah, it doesn't want to focus on that. It says it's too gross, all the scratches. That's really weird. Why is it not focusing on my arm? There we go. So those aren't cat scratches. They're all from the gardening and getting rid of some plants and crap. So, oh, trying to read the questions. Can I please go over my video challenge? No, because there's a whole video about it. Please watch it. It's the last video I made, and you have until Friday 8 p.m. to put in your submissions in the comments of that video, and there'll be a live on Sunday night where I will show my favorites and reveal the 3 favorites that will win each of them a filmmaking for photographers masterclass done by me. There we go. I haven't sold any of my gear yet. It's all, I haven't got around to, it's all ready to go. I just being really crap about it, and I just don't know how well it will sell right now. But I do have a C200 to sell because I have 2, so I am selling one of them. Am I afraid of someone stealing your gear? Well, obviously, I'm not afraid of it. I don't want it to happen, but I am very careful with my gear, and everything's insured as well. So it's important to have insurance. Don't you think so, Lollipop? Lollipop says it's important to have insurance. Oops, I just cut to the wrong camera. I went to a camera which is turned off, which is the drone outside. I might just check on it one more time actually while I'm here. How many terabytes of storage do I own? Last time I calculated it, it was 6.5 billion. So it's fairly substantial. Yeah, 6.5 billion. How many cameras do I own? 6.5 billion. That's a lot of cameras. See if my drone, the Mavic 2, I can't keep getting it wrong. The Mavic 2 Pro is still working outside. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, it's still going. Oh, don't update the database. My infrared, so my infrared video will be out next week, and it's all about not just drones infrared, but everything infrared. I've been doing infrared for a number of years now, and there's nobody. So if you don't believe I've been doing the gardening, see all that stuff down there? All of this is stuff I've cut back. I've cut back so much. It's absolutely ridiculous. There you go. How much will the EOS R5 cost? $6.5 billion is what I am estimating. 6.5 billion, which is a lot. Okay, I'm going to end this live stream in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, so anything key there. So reminding you to please, please, please get your submissions in for the shooting challenge by Friday, 8 p.m. And there'll be another live on Sunday night where I will be showing you all my favorites of the in-camera edits and my 3 favorites. So there. And yes, this is the smart controller that I was using to show outside because it has an HDMI out. You can see HDMI out, which is really cool. Full-size HDMI out is nice. I do miss flying drones. The problem is, living in London, it's a drive for me to go anywhere to fly a drone. I'm envious of people who live in the middle of nowhere and cool places where they can fly their drones all the time. So there you go. Okay, so as this live has now gone on for 6.5 billion minutes, it is time to say goodnight. It's goodnight from Lollipop. It's goodnight from my drone outside. It's goodnight from the Mavic Air 2, which is, come on, get in bloody focus. Why is it? Oh, there we go. I think I've got it on too slow right now. I think it's because I've got it on locked on. That's why. And I think that's about it, really. So I'm going to try and do a clean out by going to a still and turning my mic off. And I hope you have a great night. And I will see you on Sunday evening, UK time, for the live where I will reveal the winners of the shooting in camera challenge.